What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about British comedy versus American comedy. Is one of them better? Maybe, I don't know. How would you describe British comedy? How would an American describe British comedy? Let's put it that way. Uh, Self-deprecating? Nuanced? Whereas American comedy, geez, it's very in your face. It's very obvious. Americans want you to know that there is a joke being made, and they want you to laugh at it. Whereas with British comedy, it's almost like what, making fun of the world, like the circumstances of existence. No, that might be too philosophical. As a matter of fact, why ask me what British comedy, how to define it? I'll tell you one thing. If I look up the definition of British humor, we get British humor carries a strong element of satire aimed at the absurdity of everyday life. That is a good way to put it. Common themes include sarcasm, tongue-in-cheek, banter, insults, self-deprecation. That is a big one. Self-deprecation. Taboo subjects, puns, innuendo, wit. Yes, this is actually a really good definition. I just went on the Wikipedia for it. And this is like, deadpan, often accompanied by deadpan deliberate. I can hardly speak. This thing is so true. It's like exactly what I wanted to, in my mind, vocalize. These are often accompanied by a deadpan delivery, which is present throughout the British sense of humor. Yes. Wow. Americans like British humor, honestly. You know, I think there's a reason why there's a phrase, British humor, and no one ever talks about American humor. No one's saying, oh, I love those classic American humor. There's American comedies, movies that are near and dear to people's hearts, but British humor, British comedy is like its own beast, its own entity. It's hard to describe, but the Wikipedia did a good job, I gotta be honest. Anyway, I found this video here, British versus American comedy. I thought it'd be interesting if it could break down even further, kind of explain these two phenomenons and how they compare, which one's better. Very controversial.
Written the funniest joke in the world, and as a consequence, he will die laughing.
Okay. This is absurd. He's written the funniest joke, and he's dying laughing at his own joke. This is absurd. It's, it makes you laugh just at, like, letting the situation play out. It's not like beating you over the head. Like, laugh, this is a joke. That's, like, a big thing that kind of bugs me with some American comedies. It's a good performance, too.
First off, I think it's wrong to say either style of comedy is better. I find it kind of annoying when people say British comedy is always smarter or wittier. Have you seen Arrested Development or 21 Jump Street or even a SpongeBob episode?
Smarter or wittier? Yeah, SpongeBob. Oh my gosh, watching this as a kid, you had no idea just how kind of clever some of it actually was. It kind of blows my mind. I don't really get too much opportunity to watch SpongeBob in hindsight, but it is way smarter than its own good.
Or wittier. Have you seen Arrested Development or 21 Jump Street or even a SpongeBob episode?
Be careful, Patrick. Being an artist is a heavy responsibility. Each work of art is like a child and must be treated as such.
Come on! I was just gonna draw a cartoon.
Okay, why didn't you say so?
There's definitely very
Classic.
smart writing on both sides of the Atlantic. But that doesn't answer the question. What makes them different? After weeks of research, my answer is still I don't know, but let's give it a shot.
No one could read it and live.
Again, the absurdity of this. The absurdity of this, this is a good example. The absurdity of the situation being played out completely deadpan, completely, like, flat delivery, like this is a true thing that is happening. This joke is killing people. That, it's just, yeah, it's funny. It's British. laughing just knowing what's gonna happen.
No, I don't.
Also, like the willingness to completely and utterly commit to like one joke or one concept like this. Just utter commitment to it. Love that.
I don't change it. I mean, the difference, you know, if we're talking about the big two, Britain and America, sorry, rest of the world.
I think the first step is to take a British comedy and see how its American adaptation changed. What's the
Right.
difference between David Brent and Michael Scott? By season 2, the US Office begins its movement away from the UK original. We even see a subtle cinematic change by brightening the lights in the office. While originally just a way to differentiate it from the UK version, the added brightness seems to serve as a nice metaphor for the adaptation as a whole.
But the big difference is that Americans are more optimistic. And that's due to the fact that Americans are told they can become the next president of the United States.
Oh, Americans are more optimistic. You know, I would totally agree that if there was a show, an American show, like it has to have some level of optimism or like the good guy wins, something good happens, or the bad guy gets their comeuppance. There has to be some form of justice or happiness or resolution to it. It could never just be like morbid and then end. It'd be like that just wouldn't. But I feel like maybe British comedy, British humor is more willing to go there into that pessimistic, realistic, like kind of zone.
And they can. British people are told it won't happen to you. And they carry that. They carry that with them.
There's no doubt that America lightened up the show. Michael Scott had his failures, but there's a hope to it. In one episode, he wasn't invited to Jim's party, but shows up anyway, genuinely hurt and bitter.
Wow!
Yeah.
Who opened the morgue for this thing?
He picks a duet song and no one will sing it with him. Reluctantly, Jim joins in, giving Michael a big cheesy smile and an overall happy ending to the episode.
Exactly. Wow. That is exactly what I was talking about. And is this an example of the British Office? Like, willing to have, like, a depressing ending or something like that?
But when David Brent performs, it's still funny, but a different kind of funny. Nobody pities him or cheers him on. They all just watch in embarrassment. And
there's something about this. The realism of it, the awkwardness, the naked awkwardness of it, the willingness of the British Office to just let it sit, let the uncomfortable comedy sit and let us take it in, and nothing's gonna save us.
There's no happy ending, and it's not very hopeful. Or look at how both characters wrap up their time on the show. Spoiler alert. Michael Scott quits to move with his fiancée to Colorado, and David Brent begs for his job back.
I will try twice hard. I really will. I know I've been complacent, and I'll turn this place around if we just say that it's not definite now.
Of course, this doesn't include the Christmas special, which was a lot happier.
Put it this way, the American comic hero, like John Belushi or someone like that, you know that scene in Animal House where there's a fellow playing folk music on a guitar, and John Belushi picks up the guitar and destroys it. And the cinema loved it because he just smashes it and then waggles his eyebrows at the camera. Everyone says, God, he's so great. Well, a British comedian would want to play the folk singer. We want to play the failure.
Gosh, that is so... that is like... Is British humor really that pessimistic? I mean, they're really driving this home, and some really, really great British comics are agreeing with this whole synopsis, as you could say. I actually didn't know that The Office is ended that way. That kind of just further... That really does prove the point even further, that the two different offices ended in such different ways.
Engine started, liver purring, and I roll on by, free love on.
So maybe the difference is the optimistic American dream versus the dark British reality? At least that's what many people think about it.
Europe is just basically a gene pool of people whose ancestors said, I don't think I can risk. No, I can't risk it. America is a gene pool of people say, let's risk it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting difference, but I don't think this is the defining difference, because there's other attributes to British humor that, like, British comedy that make it, like, if we go back to Wikipedia, not just the self-deprecation, but the absurdity of everyday life. That one, that's honestly the cornerstone of comedy itself, to be honest. Um, Sarcasm, tongue-in-cheek, banter, right. And, like, hyper realistic. I emphasize that. Taboo subjects, wit, yes. I think there's other differences in addition to the kind of depressing self-deprecation.
Let's try it.
But I think that answer is too easy, because you have to ignore the fact that Americans love the failures, like Shaun from Shaun of the Dead, and plenty
True.
of modern American sitcoms feature losers who never get their redemption.
True.
Frankly, I think it's an outdated theory. The past television era of Married with Children and Seinfeld and Friends always featured the classic wise guy who always had the funny one-liner for every moment.
The classic wise guy. How many TV shows on the planet can be defined by there's a classic wise guy? Never realized that one really hits home.
See, you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold the reservation.
But I think in the last 10 years, we're starting to see a self-awareness of this American dream optimism style of comedy. In It's Always Sunny, there certainly is that feeling of hope in the characters. They think they can accomplish anything, but they always take it way too far by becoming violent, cruel, and hilariously backstabbing. It's almost a critique on American optimism.
Yeah, this is a good point. This is a good point with Always Sunny. Also, it kind of depends. There's different eras of TV, vastly different. And with it, just like they're saying with Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like in the modern comedy, it's starting to like parody itself and be self-referential. Like this American show is super pessimistic and like over the top, like uncomfortable, and like the main characters are basically evil at times, but always with that hint of goodness, though. That's very important.
In America, you're supposed to succeed, but at what cost?
Look, if we use a gun, we're definitely gonna need a silencer. A gun? Fine, no guns. Piano wire, okay? Maybe we can use some piano wire. Look, whatever it is, I gotta be the guy to pull the trigger on this thing.
Not to mention they always fail and face the consequences. And it seems like not one single thing ever works out for Larry in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I need them!
Step out of the car, please.
Oh, come on, are you serious?
And
Yeah, it's like there's so many American comedies where it's okay to have the wise guy, the funny guy, who can even be kind of like sarcastic or downright bad or morbid or whatever to make it funny, but they always have a heart of gold or, you know, something like that. That's very American to me.
An episode of Louie ends with his date running into a helicopter to escape him. It doesn't get more pathetic than that. So maybe some American comedy pokes fun at the hope and lighthearted nature of past sitcoms. Or maybe American comedy is even shifting towards that British cynicism. Or maybe we'll always hold that American optimism in our hearts. And even in the millennial generation, where the American dream seems to do nothing but screw us over, it'll always be ingrained in our culture and mindset to shrug it off and keep on trying.
I'm not going to take no for an answer, because I just refuse to do that, because I'm a winner. And winners, we don't listen to words like no or don't or stop. Those words are just not in our vocabulary.
I know this is a topic a lot of people get passionate about, but I hope the comment section doesn't get too heated.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I like some of the Always Sunny in Philadelphia stuff because it kind of leans a bit towards British comedy. Maybe that's why it's like super popular.
At least I don't expect some kind of Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Thanks for watching.
I'm so glad, you know what, that's the end of this video, but I'm so glad he played this clip. Like, how would you describe this clip? This may seem like innocuous and like not a big deal, but this clip right here, this 2-second clip, like is such a big impact to me, such a good example. You would never, ever, ever see some kind of sequence like this in an American comedy, old or new, where it's just like, I don't know how to describe this.
Inquisition.
the Spanish Inquisition.
It's like absurd, yet they're playing it real, but it's I don't know. It's that guy on the I just saw the expression of the guy on the right and it's making me crack up. Yeah, there's something more to this. There's something more to the British comedy that's almost undescribable. And when I think of it, I think of this clip. I think that's why it struck home for me right now. I think of stuff like this clip.
Thanks for watching.
Here it is, a groove.
Okay. I mean, that was a good video. I like that it had good examples and actually broke down some of the differences. This was by Now You See It. And I liked it. I did like that. What do the comments say? The commenters have to have an opinion on this, right? This may not always be the case, but I think that British tend to laugh at misery, whereas Americans laugh at stupidity. Okay. Yeah. Americans do laugh at stupidity. It's kind of the easy way out, isn't it? That's what I was talking about, like, American comedy can be less nuanced, a little more basic, a little more, hey, here's the thing you're supposed to laugh at, this guy being stupid. Whereas a British comedy, with incorporating misery and nuance, like the nuance of it, making it funny, that's the art, actually making it funny. When I'm watching American shows or sitcoms, it's almost just meant to cheer me up. Oh. But when I watch British TV shows, I can really relate to them. Interesting. Yes, it is more relatable. Huh, this is good stuff. The way I see it, British humor is laughing at themselves. US humor is laughing at others. Yeah, another good one. The comedy is in two categories: American idealism and British realism. Wow, these commenters are like sages of comedy interpretation. I like these. I like these a lot. The classic distinction from a legendary director is that American comedy takes a normal situation and makes it crazy. The Brits, on the other hand, take a ridiculous situation and make it straight. Wow. American comedy takes a normal situation and makes it crazy. I like the second one. I really like the second one. The Brits take a ridiculous situation and play it straight. That is exactly right. That is spot on. Oh my gosh. I think that's exactly right. Wow. Okay, that leaves me a little more satisfied with getting to the bottom of this mystery. British comedy versus American comedy. I don't know. They both offer different things, vastly different things when you really think about it. So I guess there's your answer. There you go. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain, British culture, stuff in Britain that I have never seen before or heard about before, stuff like that, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.